All right, all right. The recording is rolling. Welcome back, everybody, to another weekly sentiment stream with Traddoo. We do a weekly review, a previous week review, as well as our weekly sentiments, what we're looking at right now, what we're looking possibly to happen within this most previous week, within the price action that we're watching right now. So, as a lot of you guys know or may not know, what I like to preach is the right side of the chart. I'm not too worried about what's happening on the left side of the chart unless it's higher time frames until it happens, meaning there's no point in guessing. Literally just wait for the price to show you which direction it wants to show on higher time frames, where's the draw, and from there, you can start to build your bias. Personally, why I like waiting later in the week, Wednesday through Friday, to trade because it's going to be very clear. I would rather just wait till it's easy. It's already there, picture's there. Why would I have to do any guessing? Instead, I'm just going to wait till it's easy, remain patient, and then get in my bias trade that way. Because at the end of the day, it's going up or down, right? So if I have a directional bias, let's just say it's bullish, right? And I'm going into Wednesday, I'm going into Thursday. I see a push up, I see imbalance that's being left behind. I see a previous area of demand that I'm looking to buy off of in this case. I'm waiting for price to come down and then confirm that, right? Let's say it's Thursday now, pure continuation. We come into Thursday and then Thursday shows a push down through that zone, right? Am I going to be super upset that that happened, that my bias was wrong? No, I was just disproven. So what does that do? That gives me another opportunity. What do I mean by that? I have just broken that demand zone. Now I have the ability to look for what had caused that to take that lower high for lower, right? So it's really just waiting till it's obvious and then approving or disproving that bias. Keep it simple because it's only going up or down, right? So let's go ahead and get into the review now. Let me delete this for you guys. We'll talk about our previous week price action that had happened, why it had continued down, why it was continuously looking like it was going to move higher, right? But then we saw the pushes down into weekly lows, right? So let's, as always, we start on a higher time frame. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the daily chart. Let's talk about our previous week here, starting at Monday. So we're looking at Monday here. We had actually taken out a previous high area of buy side. We can see this one as well. Monday, Tuesday, coming into Wednesday, we had a reversal into Thursday, and then we had that push down. Why did this happen, and why could we have looked for this? Well, we just had our push, right? Higher low, higher high that was created. We had taken out buy side, another higher low, and another higher high that has taken out buy side. At this point, we can already start to see the liquidity that is being built up. What do I mean by this? I mean the equal lows that we can see right here. Liquidity is literally trend lines, okay? So if you guys go and you draw trend lines, think about how a retail trader, and when I say retail, somebody who gambles, okay? If you have a plan, if you execute the same plan every time, you're not a retail trader. A retail trader is someone who gambles based off of a line or something they put on the chart and they think it's going to hold that just because, right? There's no reason or step to analysis for their confirmations. But looking at this trend line, we understand that a retail trader is going to constantly long this, putting their stops below that trend line, right? Putting their stops below this trend line, putting their stops below this trend line as price continues to move up. So this creates that liquidity that we can see in the form of those equal lows. Now, as we're pushing up and as we're making that move to the upside, we are looking for that next area of demand to possibly confirm or deny. Now, we can see the liquidity that is being built up. So in order to continue to the upside, we need to go out with the old money and in with the new money. What does this mean? We need a liquidity rate of previous demand in order to create new demand for continuation to the upside, right? So after we had gotten that buy side raid, of this high and this high here, and we had that large push up, we were creating all of those equal lows that we can see right here. Coming into Wednesday and Thursday, which is your midweek reversal, we saw that reversal after we had taken out the highs, and all the late longs who were longing have now been stopped out of their trades. What does this cause them to do at this point? Think about the psychology of you being in this trade as a long and then you getting stopped out here coming into Tuesday of this previous week, right? You come into it and now you're getting stopped out of your trade, right? You're long. So you're telling yourself, hey, I should short now. It's broke the trend line. It's retested the trend line. So I'm going to short it. So now you short it, right? Now that same exact manipulation is going to occur over and over again while you're trying to guess where price is going instead of understanding what price is already showing you. If price is already showing me the equal lows that are being formed, and then we're on the daily. I'm going to go to my 4 hour now. And then we take previous highs and we break 4 hour structure with displacement once, twice. I now have that area of supply that price comes back into and then continues to the downside. This tells me that I now have that daily pullback in motion. So if I was at this point in time, and let's just use replay mode for the emphasis on this. If I'm looking at this point in time and I'm on my daily chart, where am I looking to the downside, right? You have to ask yourself, where was that previous area of demand? Where are the equal lows being created? Okay, we have a trend line. We can see the equal lows that are being formed. Break a structure 1, break a structure 2. So my previous institutional candle, my area of demand is within here. This is not the demand that I'm looking for at this point in time. I'm looking to liquidate this demand and create new demand for continuation overall. So now that we have that confirmation of that 4 hour pullback, I'm now able to say, okay, if we get another break of structure to the downside, which is what we got there, we can look for the continuation to the downside into those daily lows. And we can now start to play what chart is showing us, right? Instead of trying to guess anything. So now that that has occurred, we wait, it continues to the downside, and the only way that we would look for a reversal is until it's shown. So if we're looking for downside on higher time frames, the 4 hour, the daily, we'll look for downside, 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 downside until the 4 hour is going to tell me different. Now let's come into this week. Downside, 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 downside. Do I have a break of structure yet? Nothing that has created a higher low yet. No, it has not. Okay, let's come into Monday now. We have taken out our previous week's low, which was here, Friday's low, taken that out. And then Monday and Tuesday, today, we just saw a huge 4 hour break of structure to the upside. We left some imbalance. We broke multiple previous highs that had caused new lows. If I go back on the daily, we came back into that area, that institutional candle. I talk about the MLC, which is my simplified version of Wyckoff, which is a mitigation, a liquidation, and then a creation of demand. And now that that is being formed, that's being shown, that higher low is starting to be confirmed. I'm looking for upside, right? That's as simple as it is. Now that I've seen that higher low confirmed, later in the week after the news, right after our 10 o'clock news, 8:30 news. I do believe we have a lot coming into later the week, but after those show and after everyone is taken out of their early longs or early shorts, and price shows this same move on lower time frames from the hourly to the 15 to the 5, I'm able to enter that trade and hold for these highs right here, as overall we're still bullish, right? So if chart is showing you that bullish behavior, there's no point to try to go in there and guess a downside short at this point in time, what I believe, right? Because if you go in there and you start guessing, you are just going to completely mess up your entire strategy, your entire goal, just because you're trying to be right. Think about that, right? Don't try to be right. Try to be successful and true to your system. Because if you're constantly trying to just make money, you will never make money. But if you're constantly trying to do the same thing over and over again, you will now have that path to progression because you can see where you're going wrong. You can see where you're not going wrong. You can see where you should improve. You can see what days you shouldn't trade, what days you should trade. All of these things are very, very crucial to what makes you a successful trader. So if you continue to go into the market saying, I just have to be right, or I have to catch this bottom or catch this top, then what are you really trading for? Ask yourself that. And then after you have figured that out, if you want to continue to trade, tell yourself, I need to follow the rules. If my rules are, I'm waiting till later in the week, I'm waiting till it's obvious, then that's what I'm going to do every single time. That's why you don't see me coming onto these sentiment streams and pointing out a zone and saying, we got to go to this one or we have to go to this one before we go to this one. I'm just telling you what is here at this point in time. Because if that is all we have to control, meaning that's all we can control, and we can continue to do that same thing over and over again, then you will trade the most stress free way that you have ever traded in your life because now you're just doing the same thing. It's a job, right? But with that being said, coming into Tuesday, coming into Wednesday, Wednesday is our possible midweek reversal. Right now, we are looking like we are bullish. We have created an imbalance right here on the 4 hour, which is calling in our daily pullback. If we look at the daily here, We have an area of imbalance right here we could possibly reverse off of, but right now we're just overly bullish. So I would look for probably this Wednesday candle here to form a doji, create an imbalance right here, come into that fair value gap and continue to the upside. We can confirm or deny that coming into Thursday or Friday of this week. But that is as simple as it is for me. I do believe we are just creating new demand, continuing to the upside on higher time frames. If you guys had any questions or anything like that on US 30, please let me know. I do hope this little review kind of helped you guys as well understand how I come into the market and try to form my bias every single day, because it really is just the same thing. It's not going to change. Every single one of these streams, I'm going to tell you guys the same thing. Um, because that's what it is, right? That's real, that's trading. So if you guys can come into the market, do the same thing over and over and over again, then you can learn. Then you can learn, I promise. But our higher time frames, like I was saying before, we are looking bullish. If we were to see downside, I would look for a move up into this area of fair value and then a 4-hour break of structure to the downside with displacement. If that were to occur, I would first look for this low here and then this low here for the creation of new demand following. We can confirm or deny that, but right now it looks like we will just tease highs, come back into that area of fair value, and continue to the upside overall. But that's pretty much all I had for you guys today. I do appreciate everybody that was popping out today. I do want to keep these streams shorter for you guys. I don't want to throw out too much information. This is pretty much how I do it every single day. So, top down analysis, higher time frames to lower time frames. What are your higher time frames telling you? As that's your narrative, and your lower time frames are the pages that make up that story. But again, thank you guys, everybody who had come out, everybody who had sat here and watched this live. And if you guys did not or want to go watch the recording again, this will be on YouTube. It's going to be up in the next 30 minutes or so. But again, I appreciate everybody had popped out. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and or night, and I will see you all later. Peace out, everybody.